What's up? This is Mr. Royce from Royce Media coming at you guys with another video. How y'all doing today? We'll wait a few minutes to let everybody start filling in the chat, and then we're gonna get started on our topic for today. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a good one. See if we can make it do what it do. You know, this is a subject that I think it's pretty hot right now, and it's indicative of a lot of stuff. So once we get some people in the chat, we'll start talking about it. So shout out to all my people out there, all my truckers, all my blue collar workers, all my white collar workers, my green collars, my gray collars, blue collars, you know, everybody. Shout out to all my people out there. Hopefully we get some people in listening while they go about their work day. And you know, we can talk about this. I think this is a pertinent subject, you know? Yeah. Eboni K. Samuels. Who I'm really talking about is Eboni K. Williams, but what I really want to talk about is basically the Kevin Samuels effect that we're seeing a lot in social media and more in mainstream media. You know, I call it the Kevin Samuels effect because he really was the one that kind of that really kind of brought the discussion to the forefront and got people to talking about issues with dating, marriage, and the modern woman. So, you know, recently, Eboni K. Williams she got on media and she talked about, you know, suggesting that women who want to get married find the people they want to marry in college. And, of course, I think it was sound advice. This is something that guys like myself, other content creators, we've been talking about for years. And the reason being, in Eboni K. Williams or Eboni K. Samuels, for the purposes of this live, it made logical sense because for women who want to get married, it's best that they do it as early as possible and to try to lock down a man while he's in college, while he's developing himself for his future career. You know, this is the best time to do this because more than likely he doesn't have any attachments. He's at an age young enough to where if a woman wants to build a family with him, they can build that family and grow together. Now, I think better advice than that is for women who are college age to actually get with men who are older, who are already established, if they want a family and children. But because the United States, and especially the black community, is focused on age, what they call age appropriateness, which means people marrying people of a comparable age to them, no more than a 2 to 3 year deviation with ages. The most logical way to approach that is to marry a person, is to get with a person and secure a marriage with them in college. That being said, it's going to come with a bit of struggle, because that young man will be, once he graduates college, he'll go on to start building his career, and he's not going to have the same amount of money as a man who is in his 30s. He is not going to have the career stability as a man who is older. A lot of experiences of adult marriage are new to a man that age, and he's still trying to figure himself out. But because age appropriateness is what many women in the U.S. seem to prefer, that's the most logical choice. Okay, because to be blunt, you're not going to find a whole lot of men making, making money in the high 5 figures or making money in the 6 figures straight out of college. That's not common. That's just reality. So, that's one of the trade-offs. If you get an older, more experienced man, he's more stable in his career and his lifestyle. He's gotten a lot of the young man issues out of his system. So, it's that's some of the goods, that's some of the pros. Some of the cons is that he is set in his ways. He's they tend to be more authoritative of what they allow in their lives. They tend to be less, they tend not to be as flexible as a younger man, as far as new ideas on how to do things, so forth and so on. So those are the cons. Anyway, getting back to Eboni K. Williams, as I said before, she spoke about this on her show, and it really made women, in particular Black American women, feel some kind of way. And recently she was on the Breakfast Club discussing this with a young woman who felt that Eboni K. Williams' advice and how she delivered the message was abrasive, and she didn't like the tone. So basically, this young woman was trying to tone police Eboni K. Williams. Now, going back to Kevin Samuels, this is one of the complaints that a lot of women had about the message that Kevin Samuels was delivering. They felt that his tone was too harsh, and that they felt he should have been more like a Dr. Umar, basically, pandering and, sniffing behind their butts, So Ebony Ebony K. Williams' response was that, the message was the message, and she cannot control how the receiver interprets the message, which is legitimate. She's absolutely right. So that was pretty much a back and forth. I don't have any copies of the video, so I can't load them into this live stream. I quite frankly, I don't really feel like looking for it right now, because this live was pretty much on the fly. So I'm just gonna run my mouth about it. It is what it is. Anyway, this is the message that Ebony K. Williams had, and really, even her response to the criticism, it's nothing new, and it actually predates Kevin Samuels. And actually, shout out to Obsidian Media Network. He talked about it earlier today, and he actually showed the videos of the Princeton graduate who said this 10 years prior to Kevin Samuels giving this message, and also Karen Smith, who said it 7 to 10 years prior to Kevin Samuels delivering this message. I think the difference was that Kevin Samuels tailored that message to kind of focus in more to black women somewhat than Catherine Smith and the other woman whose name I can't remember right now. But like I said, it's not a new message, and it's really not it's really consistent with a lot of the advice that people in the past have given young women. And this is why it is often said that, in particular, white women, they go to college to get their whatever degree in whatever their studies are, and their MRS, their Mrs. degree as well. They minor in that. So, it's funny, for all of the criticism that Kevin Samuels got when he was alive and he was putting out his message, we're now seeing women say the same thing, and it's funny because a lot of these are the same women who opposed how Kevin Samuels said things, and a lot of them opposed the message in general. But now they're conceding that that a lot of his messages had a good, legitimate point. So, looking at all of this, I think it's funny that you had women dancing basically on Kevin Samuels' grave, because they didn't like him, they didn't like the things that he said. But he, in essence, has become Obi-Wan Kenobi and became more powerful in his passing than when he was alive and with us. So, when you're right about something, that transcends time and space. The truth has a tendency not to change. I mean, you may have things that may augment the truth, that may add more to the truth, and contextually and explicitly, but it doesn't change the core of the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, it's funny. In terms of the response from the sisterhood and the gynocracy, you have a lot of women that participate in that stuff, and they want to believe their delusions and ideas about how things should be rather than how things are. They want to believe in how things should be rather than how things are. They want to believe that they want to believe things that, like a woman who is 35 or 40 is just as good a option for marriage as a woman who is in her early to mid 20s. They want to believe that a single mother is just as a viable option as a woman with no kids. They want to believe that a woman with a high body count is just as viable as a woman whose chastity is intact. But the reality is that what they believe doesn't match up with the truth. A lot of these are the same women who think that because they grant sexual access to a man who meets all of their parameters, the 3 6s, 6 inches of meat, 6 feet tall, 6-figure salary, they think that their vagina is special enough to capture this man and make him give up all of his options for them and only them. So, but the reality is that most of the time that is not the case. So, and what Eboni K. Williams did was Eboni K. Samuels, what she did was she put another dent into their delusions. They don't like that, they don't like being, they don't like the dream being disrupted, so. And that's not to say that men don't have their own delusions, which I'll be addressing in some upcoming videos, because we have a lot of guys who come to these spaces. They have certain ideas about dating, marriage, and women that simply aren't true. And, I think some of that needs to be identified and extrapolated. So, that's pretty much what it is right now, anyway. So, if there's anybody out there that has any questions, if you're in the chat, throw them in the chat. We can talk about it, kind of move the conversation along. If it's legitimate, if it's legitimate questions, statements, stuff like that, I don't mind addressing it whatsoever. So, so I think in the future, I think more and more you're going to have you're going to see an expansion of people like Crimson Cure, Pearly Things, It's Tay Bebe. That's one of my favorite content creators. Go over there and subscribe to it. I like Tay. Tay comes out with some good content. But you're going to see the expansion of women who talk like that. Miss Shalakima, another content creator, who I think she does a good job with her platform. I think you're going to start seeing more of that, but you're also going to see more members of the gynocracy and the sisterhood pushing back. Like the whole passport bro thing. They're pushing back hard, but on the other side, you see a lot of women from other places and even from the States who are not only understanding of the motivations of passport bros, but they agree with it and endorse it. They're saying, they're telling guys, hey, get your passports because we got issues over here in the U.S. So yeah, you're gonna see that. You're even gonna have some of the male hyenas. Shout out to Angry Man, another great content creator who came up with that term, the hyenas. You're going to see male pushback as well, because you have a group of men who are very idealistic about women, where they deify women instead of granting women basic humanity, which is women are capable of good and evil, just like men. They are capable of charity and acts of selfishness, just like men. But you're going to have men who deify women and treat all women like Mother Marys or their mothers. You're going to have that. So this is pretty much what we're going to be seeing on the landscape. So, all right, well, since I really don't have any interaction, I'm going to make this a short live, and I'll probably come back with something later we could talk about. I got a few errands I got to run, a few things I got to do business-wise, and, I'll probably get back to you guys later so we can chop it up later on maybe this subject or maybe some other stuff that y'all want to talk about. Anyway, this is Mr. Royce from Royce Media. Like, share, and subscribe. Pretty soon I'll be dropping a Cash App, so if you want to contribute, you'll be able to do that. And you all have a good one. Peace.